Panther War for Wakanda DLC is releasing August 19th, 2001. Guaranteed. Why? Square Enix are slaves to their habits. The last two DLCs have been released on the second to last Thursday of the month. So, Future and Perfect DLC released on March 18th, which was the second to last Thursday of March. The Red Room Takeover DLC released May 20th, which was the second to last Thursday of May. Ergo, concordantly, vis-a-vis, the Black Panther War for Wakanda DLC is emphatically guaranteed releasing August 19th, 2001, the second to last Thursday of August. Square Enix are slaves to their habits. They always do the same thing. They released this Black Panther E3 trailer with zero gameplay. Why? Because they never release a story trailer with gameplay footage. They're just slaves to their habits. They did the same thing with Hawkeye. They did the same thing with Kate Bishop. Regardless of the results of those, I mean, I guess they just hear the positive feedback, so they just do what they do, and it guaranteed August 19th, 2001. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank me later. So finally, we got the War for Wakanda reveal on Square Enix's summer event. It was pretty good. It was pretty decent. The thing is, they had to show so much for Avengers. They can't get into that much detail of War for Wakanda, i.e. Black Panther's heroics and his gear and his costumes or cosmetics or whatever. So a lot of people were pissed about that. Also, they didn't show the raid, and they didn't go in detail about all the Claw faction villains. So far, all we saw were robotic spiders. They looked cool. But and also at least they showed Claw himself. They had to show Claw himself, but they showed him, and he looks pretty close to the MCU version of Claw. Pretty much looks like the Andy Serkis version. So, as much as they say this game isn't based on the MCU, it kind of is. Because even they showed those Wakanda spaceships, the attack ships. Those are spot on where in the Black Panther movie. So, and Wakanda looks a lot like Wakanda of the MCU, and her throne room looks just like the MCU throne room. So I don't know how they're saying it's not MCU. It's totally MCU. So the question that the IGNs and the game spots are going to be asking the a-holes, like, I'm not going to get into this to give them any credit, but you know who they are, the negative Nancys, are going to ask is, okay, is this game going to bring back players who left? Answer is no. It's not going to bring back players who left, because players who left were scrubs, okay? And they're not coming back. It's going to bring new players in. That's what happens, okay? Listen, as much as the fabled Taken King DLC for Destiny, right? As much as the fabled Taken King for Destiny turned the game around, it did not bring players who quit back into the game. Okay, it brought in new players. Everybody that I know that left from Destiny from early on, I had bought it day one. Those people that left, they never came back. They were in the beginning, they played Vault of Glass. The rest of the game was pretty lame besides the Vault of Glass. And then they came out with the other one, the Fall Crota raid. And the Crota raid was definitely not as good as the Vault of Glass. And it's full of bugs. So, people left. And the reason why people left was not just that kind of, because it wasn't really that, it came out House of Wolves. Then it came out for third raid, and people were pissed there was no third raid. So people left for that reason. People left because the Galahorn got sunset. The problem with Taken King, as good as it wasn't, as much as people remember in like rose-colored glasses, they remember it with like nostalgia put on the Taken King. The problem with the Taken King is Bungie decided in some unforced error to sunset the Galahorn, and that drove a lot of people away. And the people that left early, those people that left early never even did the first raid. I know people that I played with when the game first came out, and they could never complete Vault of Glass, and they just left. Okay, because they were too disorganized and just bad players in general. And they maybe got in the first part or the second part of Vault of Glass, but then they just fell off because they couldn't do the rest of it. Never completed it. So people never came back. And when Taken King came out, they didn't come back. They sucked. They're just scrubs. They just fell by the wayside. And the same thing with Avengers. All those people that left are just single player players in the first place. They're not cut out to play MMOs. And they're not coming back. And even if they did try to do Omega level threats, if it's any good, if it's anywhere near as good as the Raids of Destiny, they're not going to be able to do that either. And they will not come back for that. Because they're not going to be able to complete it, so why come back? I mean, scrubs are scrubs. So it's going to bring in new players just by the fact that it has Black Panther and it has more diversity in the game. So far, he's the first African American character in Marvel's Avengers. It's only been out, 9 months? Okay, so that's the fact. It's going to bring it back. And Black Panther was very popular. The movie was very popular. So it'll bring in new players. The question is, will all those new players come back, stay? The ones that are like more suited to do raids will stay, and the other ones will just come in for the wow factor of the Black Panther. But either way, it's a win for anybody who likes the game, is invested in the game as much as I am. Yeah, it's a win. So we're gonna play it regardless. We never left. I didn't burn myself out in the game. I just kind of played in moderation. I just did my daily bounties and bounced. Unless I'm doing something else like challenge cards, which takes longer. Or farming for exotics. So yeah, it looked great. The only thing they needed was maybe some gameplay. But the reason why they didn't show the Black Panther gameplay, because it's like it's oversaturation. It's gonna get lost in the shuffle. They showing this in a big square expo, which is like getting drowned in of a million other games. They forced you to watch about 10 minutes, which is about 8 minutes too long of that Guardians of the Galaxy game. So they figured even if they showed Black Panther, you would probably just most people would tune out. People who aren't big Avengers fans would tune out and not really pay attention to it. So they rather show that when they have your undivided attention. And it's just the same way. It's going to be. It comes as any surprise because they're doing the same format that they did with the Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. I mean, they showed Kate Bishop's gameplay, and they just teased Hawkeye. Okay, because Hawkeye was not come up next. Kate Bishop was up next, so they only showed Kate Bishop's gameplay then. And then they just showed Hawkeye's gameplay and never showed Black Panther. They just showed him he just drops in on the screen for like a second, but they didn't show him his gameplay because Hawkeye was next on March 18th. As far as this, they showed a lot of gameplay of the Cosmic Cube, which I'll get into later. So what I did see in that Black Panther reveal was, one, they showed Shuri. They showed the Dora Milaje, which was cool. So who knows? Hopefully there'll be an exotic artifact that lets you just summon the Dora Milaje into a fight. That'd make it awesome. That'd be cool. They come in and just start taking everybody down with their vibranium spears. That'd be cool. So if they do that, yeah, I'm all for it. So there's a lot of potential with the game so far, and we'll see what happens. I thought it was good, and also they didn't even have time to mention the raid, but we know there is a raid, and that's gonna be the Wakanda raid. What they did show, which was cool, what I saw was they showed Claw in 3 stages. So Claw with both his hands. They show Claw without one of his hands. He has the sonic cannon, and then they show the Claw mutated by the vibranium, and he's like a giant monster. He's a monster made of living sound. So that living sound final form, when he's a giant, that's the raid boss that Miller leaked months ago. He did leak that you would eventually fight at the end of the raid. You'd fight Claw in a giant form. He absorbed the vibranium and became a sonic monster. So there you go. So it's kind of cool that they didn't mention the raid by name in the trailer, but they showed the raid boss. So all in all, I'm excited for it, and I like the "Walk Like a King" song needle drop they did during the trailer, which I can't stream because copyright strikes. August can't come soon enough.